We begin in Washington. Ceremonies honoring the late Senator Lindsey Graham. Senator Graham's casket carried out of the U.S. Capitol, where his funeral service will take place at the Washington National Cathedral later today. Let's get to CBS News correspondent Nikole Killion. She's at the Washington National Cathedral with former Vice President Mike Pence right now. Nikole, thank you so much for joining us, and our thanks to the former Vice President for making an appearance on CBS News 24/7 as well.
Yeah, good to be with you, Reed. And as you mentioned, we are joined here by former Vice President Mike Pence, who you told me you just flew in for this service today. What are your thoughts on the late senator's life and legacy?
Well, thanks for having me on. I have to tell you, my heart is heavy standing here at the National Cathedral, remembering the life and legacy of a true American statesman, Senator Lindsey Graham. I will miss him as a friend. I knew him when I was in the House of Representatives. He was a senator for most of that time, and then, of course, worked very closely with him over the years that I was in the White House. And what I admired about him was he was deeply committed to American leadership in the world, supporting our military, to pro-growth economic policies, to the right to life. But maybe underneath all of it, what made him so special was he was a happy warrior. And I expect that'll be remembered here today at the National Cathedral. It's impossible to talk about or remember Lindsey Graham without remembering that sense of humor. But while that may be what I miss the most, his leadership, particularly for America on the world stage, will be missed. But I am heartened that even tonight the United States Senate will take up the Lindsey Graham Russia sanctions bill as a testament to him, but also an ongoing testament to his leadership.
You talked about that time where you overlapped both in Congress and in your role as vice president working in the first Trump administration. How did your relationship evolve with the senator?
Well, I was a fan of Lindsey Graham even before I got elected to Congress. I watched from afar as he emerged on the national stage early on, if you remember, as one of the impeachment managers. But I saw him then as an incredibly articulate, energetic voice for conservative principles. And so when I arrived in Congress in 2001, I was drawn to him immediately. We became fast friends. I had the privilege of traveling with him and the late Senator John McCain to visit troops in Iraq during the Operation Iraqi Freedom. And it's another part of Lindsey Graham that I trust will be remembered today. I don't know that men and women in uniform had a greater champion in Washington, D.C. than Senator Lindsey Graham. He wore the uniform some 30 years, retired out as a colonel. But beyond that, there was just a devotion to a strong national defense, to American leadership in the world that I saw firsthand out with troops downrange with him and his old friend.
You talked about his sense of humor, which I feel a lot of people have talked about his wit. I think anybody who knew him knew that he always kind of had a comeback line, if you will. But, you know, what story sticks out to you the most?
Oh, there was just an evidence of that. I'll never forget traveling to Iraq. We had to refuel in Ireland. Small airplane, G5. We were rolling down the runway to take off for the rest of our trip, and all of a sudden the plane powered down, taxied to the end of the runway and did a 180-degree turn and started back. And I remember looking at Senator McCain and Senator Graham. We didn't know what had happened. But as they powered up to take off in the opposite direction, Lindsey just smiled and said, "Iraq is that away." And we all burst out laughing. There was a spontaneity about him. Whatever the circumstances, however unpredictable, he always began with a smile, with humor. But I don't want to gainsay the fact that through successive administrations and you know, changing priorities for the nation, Lindsey Graham was a steadfast, unapologetic advocate for America as leader of the free world. And I believe when the Senate moves that bill tonight, and hopefully the House very soon, and the President signs it, that Russia sanctions bill will not only be part of Lindsey Graham's enduring legacy, but I truly do believe that it could set into motion what I know was his fondest hope, which was a just and lasting peace for the people of Ukraine.
I was going to say, what impact do you think this particular legislation, this Russia sanctions package that he championed, will have. Obviously, now it also includes an extension of sanctions against Iran.
Well, I think, look, the ability to impose even secondary sanctions on those that are fueling the Russian war machine cannot be overstated. And the fact that Lindsey, on his last days on earth, was in Ukraine, secured a commitment from the Trump administration to support the bill after several years of negotiations, I think is a testament to his leadership. But at the end of the day, that brutal and unprovoked invasion by Russia into Ukraine ran into a fierce Ukrainian military, U.S. and Western support. But there was no greater champion of freedom for the people of Ukraine than Lindsey Graham. And I know that he will be remembered as fondly there as he is here when peace and justice finally come.
I mean, besides this bill, what do you think it will take to not only end the war between Russia and Ukraine, but also end this war with Iran?
Well, I think everything begins with American strength. I commend the president and the new administration for calling for a dramatic increase in our military spending to meet the obligations that we have. I'm heartened to see the progress the administration has made licensing Patriot missiles to Ukraine. The president met with President Zelensky this morning. But everything begins with American strength. We stay strong for freedom in Eastern Europe. We stay strong and on station even in the midst of this pause. With regard to Iran, I think we have the conditions where at least the possibility of a just and lasting peace that achieves American objectives and secures a peaceful future for the world.
And in terms of Ukraine, you told me one of your last conversations with the late senator was about Ukraine.
It was. We ran into each other in the airport, and after he said nice things to my wife, as he always did, and we shared a few laughs. He immediately put his finger in my chest, and we spoke about that Iran sanctions, that Russia sanctions bill. I honestly think it could well be the work of his life if, in the aftermath of his passing, that our nation's capital and the administration step up, put pressure on Russia, and secure a victory for freedom in Eastern Europe and Ukraine.
Well, former Vice President Mike Pence, we thank you so much for taking the time, and our condolences to you.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Breathe.